I am really excited to introduce to everyone today the beautiful Amy Valentine, and we are going to have fun juxtaposing our lives because we live in very different places. However, our theory is that we basically are the same intrinsically, even though we live in very different places. So I'm living on a subtropical island in Queensland, Australia, hence my background, swimming in the water. And although my outfit doesn't look very islandish, but it's actually the middle of winter here. And even though it is quite warm, but it's early in the morning. So I'm on an island, and I'll welcome you, Amy, and let you tell everyone about where you are.
Well, thank you so much, first of all, for having me on your show. I'm super thankful and super excited to be here. I'm in the United States. I'm on the East Coast, right outside of Philadelphia, about 25 miles outside of Philadelphia, in Satterton, Pennsylvania. And it's great. It's a cute little suburb of Pennsylvania, and it's a little small town. I think there's about 7,000 or so in my little area. So
Oh, that's interesting. You're 3 hours approximately south of New York, aren't you? So when I think of that, I'm thinking big, but then you've only got a small town. So, it's not that dissimilar from where I am, because the last census a few years ago was about 3,160. But now I think it would be more like 5,000, 6,000. And of course, being on an island, a lot of people don't fill in the census. The whole point is to get away from all that sort of stuff and, government bureaucracy and everything. And so, a lot of people, I don't think, actually fill it in anyway. So I would imagine that would be probably more like 5,000 to 6,000 here. So a bit similar to you.
So you think the mindset of people living on an island is a little bit more free and relaxed? Yeah.
Oh,
is that absolutely. What you're saying?
Yes, yeah. I think so. They don't necessarily want to be part of the system. A lot of the people here, that they maybe recognize that the government is a corporation, and that they don't necessarily want to be part of that. And they want to have more peace and sort of more space, from people. And it's a very, very relaxed energy here. It's really, really peaceful. And you can just feel that it's like stepping back in time. And I love it. It's like going back, 30, 40 years to another place. And even the funny thing is, when I go it has a supermarket here, even when I go into the supermarket here, the music that they're playing is, from the 70s. And so it literally is like going back in time, which I love all those songs, so it doesn't bother me.
Me too. And I feel like with music, just like anything, you can hear a song from the 70s and it takes you back.
It does, doesn't it?
How old you are.
Exactly. That they hold distinct memories, and you remember things that you did right when that song was playing. And yeah, it really does. It's an amazing thing that the emotional connection with songs is incredible. Yeah. So it's a beautiful place. But the really funny thing was, because I've only just recently moved here, and I thought, well, when I moved to an island, maybe it'll be a little bit isolating, or people won't connect, they'll keep to themselves, and it'll be maybe a little bit boring, or something like this. Oh my gosh, it's completely the opposite. It's the most cohesive community that I've ever lived in, and people are coming together. For example, there's a beautiful gallery on the island. I don't think I give too much away, say where I am, but there's this beautiful avocado farm surrounding it, and drops avocados everywhere all the time, so you can pick up these lovely avocados. And people, there's these seats, and people gather the seats and put them out in the park in the morning. And there's a wonderful coffee van run by a lovely lady, and everyone puts out seats, and they just chat in the morning, and they sit and chat, and they bring their dogs, and the dogs, socialize, and the people sit and chat. And wow, what a lovely sense of community. And people make an effort to stop and be present, and to really connect, and you can feel them actually making the effort to connect, in terms of their energy and their time. And on the mainland, people are too busy, it seems, to do that. And the connections are sort of, they're there, but they're fragmented, or they're present. They don't have their presence, when they're connecting. So you sort of feel like they're not fully there, or you're not fully there, because there's so much going on, and it's much more stressful. So there's a lot of different fascinating elements to living on this island, and just that sense of true connection and community is one of them. How is it for you in Pennsylvania?
When you were telling me about, your expectations, but then when you started living there, obviously the opposite happened. I started getting this feeling like, a lot of that is because of the relaxed nature that we were talking about before we, went on about the island and how the people are super relaxed. It's a state of mind.
Yes.
It's like a feeling of, I don't know, freedom. And the cities are great to visit, but the hubbub and the busy, the constant, rat race, I think really gets to you. And you don't even realize it because you become numb to it.
Yes.
For me, I'm not in a city like that, but I had a similar experience. I didn't move to an island, but about 3 months ago, my dog got sick. Oh. And I stopped. My mom and I have a little breakfast lunch restaurant locally. Mm-hmm. And I stopped working because I was taking care of her 24/7.
And I can see her just behind you with her tongue poking out.
She is so mad at me because I'm not paying attention to her. I'm paying attention to her. Every time I start to shoot a video for my YouTube channel that I just started, she does the same thing. It's wild. I don't know what it is. So, but I got a similar feeling because I've been away from a lot of people. I mean, my friends come over and they hang out, but I haven't been to a restaurant, a bar in 3 months just because I haven't left her longer than an hour.
Oh.
And she's fine, but my point is just you explaining that chill, kind of laid back, people go within, at least my interpretation, they go within more. Exactly. Because they don't have the outer.
Exactly.
You can do it here too in Pennsylvania. You just have to choose it or be forced to do it.
Yes. It's interesting, isn't it? Because you may have that ability to go within, but it does make it much more difficult when the circumstances that you're in, like the exterior, is so very busy and energetically busy too. So that's just something that you feel, and feel all the energies of the people around you and the busyness in their lives. And of course, as we're going through this earthly transition, there's huge things that people are dealing with, in terms of their own evolution. And so everything's coming up for people. And when you're in a busy space, which is where we were living prior to this, it was very beautiful, but there was a lot of people around and a lot of their energy. It was just much harder to connect to the inner, and I'm not saying that people have to move in order to do that, but it certainly doesn't make it easier. And I think that with the energies that I'm feeling here, there's no electromagnetic sort of buzz that there was where I was previously, where there was 5G. There's no 5G here, thank goodness. That all helps as well. So it's a combination of factors. I think I've been spending a lot of time on the water as well, on boats. And oh my gosh, what that does to your energy is incredible. It's it's so lovely. And I just really realize how that impacts, again, my ability, actually, funnily enough, to connect on a deep emotional level, because, you know, water is energy and it's emotion. And so it balances you emotionally. It's very interesting what it does. And, you know, in the last week or a couple of weeks, I've put out a video about the importance of blessing water sources. And there's that message going out around the world at the minute, because after I did that, I noticed that there were so many people saying the same thing. So, you know, the water is really important at the moment as well. You know, I know that they're saying that there's that expression, watch the water.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah, so there's that element to it as well.
And watch the water, watch your emotions.
Yes, exactly.
You know, as within, so without. You know,
Yeah.
we're in this, like you were saying, you know, all these beautiful external things that aren't impinging on your energy as much, you know, from where you moved from. And I feel like I've been teaching myself and trying to teach others on how to do that if they can't get away, you know, to an island or a quiet place, or maybe they're not practiced at meditating or being out in nature wherever they are.
Yes.
And a really good teacher for anybody that teaches this is Neville Goddard. He was a teacher back in the 50s and the 60s. And his teacher was I think, I don't know where he was from, but anyway, Neville was asking him, I want to be in Barbados, because that's where Neville's hometown was. And his teacher said, you are in Barbados. But his physical body was in New York City, in the hubbub and the busy. And Neville's like, no, you don't understand. I want to be in Barbados. And his teacher said, you are in Barbados.
That is a wonderful point, because, you know, the truth of the matter is that you can take yourself energetically, itchy nose. You can take yourself energetically anywhere that you choose to be. And it is really just a mindset. So that is true, absolutely. And it's the power of your ability to do that. So for some people, they want to be meditating in a cave in Tibet at the moment. And so, you know, you can take yourself there, and you can do that all on the inner. Absolutely. If you can't do it physically. And, you know, a lot of people don't have that ability to move and to go where they would, you know, naturally feel like they're aligned. So for those people, yeah, it's mind over matter, and it's really mastering your abilities to do that with your meditations, your visualizations, and your mastering your own energy. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think Dolores Cannon said that. If anybody out there knows Dolores Cannon, you know, she said we're here as a soul in a physical body to learn how to do just what you said, to manipulate energy for the good. Absolutely. For our expansion, because she was talking about this awakening, this ascension, you know, 15, 20 years ago.
Yes. She is amazing. She always pops up in different conversations, because she's had such an incredible impact on the universal or this consciousness that we have on this planet, being such an evolved, wise being she was. So what I'd love to share with you, Amy, if I could, is just an image. So this is really interesting. This is an image of a place where I went to, which is a island that's just next to my island. And this is where dugongs gather and play. And apparently, they weren't there when I was there, but apparently, you know, they gather there and they play. So I'm just going to show you this image.
Okay, because you're going to have to tell me what a dugong is.
Oh, okay. I've got a picture of a dugong, actually. It's a manatee Have you heard of it?
wow.
Yes, it's like a mermaid of the sea, and I'm just going to bring up for you an image of a dugong that I've got here. They're very beautiful, actually, very, very spiritual. I really love them.
You know, we also have manatees here in Florida, if you've ever heard of Florida, which is
Oh,
on
yes.
the East Coast. Yeah. And
Yes.
my friend Jessie lives in Florida and loves manatees. She's like, I swear, she's like, they speak to me somehow.
Yes, yes, they do. They're quite profound spiritual beings, you know, and they have a lot of meanings spiritually. I'm still trying to find my photo. I've got this
Well,
really
I
great
have to say, I
photo.
have to say, where you are, that doesn't look all that different from the East Coast of the United States. I mean, it looks like it could be right down the street from me.
Absolutely. Ah, yes, here it is. Okay, so here is a picture of a dugong.
Okay. Wow.
They sweet.
Oh my goodness. Wow, that is beautiful.
Isn't it gorgeous? You just want to cuddle it.
Oh my gosh. And how big are they?
Big. I think they're quite big.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. So I think they're actually separate, a little bit separate, the dugongs and the manatees, but they're very similar.
Okay.
Maybe a marine expert can make a comment below. As
Please, help us.
But I do know they're very beautiful and spiritual. So that's really lovely. And you know, I'd love to share with you too an image of the place where I live. So I'm going to put it on the screen. It's just going to take me a minute to bring it up. So tell me a bit more about Pennsylvania while I'm grabbing it.
So Pennsylvania, it's a pretty big state as far as states go, but we have lots of like cute little towns, you know, near where I live, little villages that have good restaurants and shops. We have a park right near me, a few miles from me, called Evansburg. It's a state park. So they lots of preserved areas around me in Pennsylvania, you know, for the birds, for the wildlife, because we also are in a suburb, which so it is, you know, a lot of homes and stuff. So there are areas all around that help protect the wildlife. And I actually have a friend who lives on 2 acres. You know, lots of evergreens and cedar trees. And he saw a coyote crossing his yard.
Lovely.
At dusk last night. He's like, Amy, he's like, I was a little freaked out, but at the same time, he said it was the coolest image.
Wow.
Yeah, we have, you know, fox, all sorts of what I mean, just in my backyard. 2 weeks ago, I saw a snapping turtle, which Pennsylvania is known for. They're huge.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Huge turtles. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I love them.
They
And they live so long, don't they? They have such long lives. That was on Facebook the other day, and it lived, one of the oldest turtles they're aware of, 188 years old. I'm going to put an image of it up here, actually, 188 years old.
Oh, please do.
Yeah.
They don't have a whole lot of resistance. Maybe we could live longer if we didn't have a lot of resistance.
That's
and
true.
Stress.
An attachment to age, you know, saying, oh, this year I'm blah, blah, blah age, this year I'm blah, blah, blah age, and just sort of buying into that whole aging process, which I never do. People say to me, how old are you? And I go, honestly, I can't remember. I don't know.
That's my goal. I don't remember. I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah. And it's not that I'm resistant to the process of aging, because I actually love it, and I know that I'm getting fuller every year with more wisdom, more knowledge, more experience, and life does get better. So I'm not resistant to that aspect, but I don't agree with the human sort of philosophies of thinking that we age, because it is a belief system, and actually makes you age. So we don't have to age in truth. And our DNA has been fiddled with so that we have a shorter lifespan. I know that has happened. But, in the future, we will be able to live, for thousands of years, if not, eternally, if we choose. Once we once we ascend in our energies and our DNA gets sort of reassembled and fully activated and all that sort of thing.
Oh, I agree. And I think that, again, it brings me back to the mindset. And it's like it is a belief system, and it's a collective belief system that we age.
That's right.
Or that women have to go through menopause. I don't believe in any of that anymore. I used to. Mm-hmm. But since I'm rising in consciousness, I'm realizing, well, wait a minute, the only moment we ever have is right now.
Yeah.
So why would I think about myself as aging?
Exactly.
And I'm not saying I don't have bad moments and my energy dips. Of course it does, because we have every state of consciousness within us. Yes. However, it's so much easier once you let go of, like what you're saying, of aging and certain beliefs that really were just handed down from people. I don't know if they were trying to program us or not, but they probably didn't know either. Yeah. Oh, the old gray mare ain't what she used to be. Or like, I grew up with all these sayings, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And it's, well,
they're limited.
I can think for myself.
Yes, yeah. Yes, absolutely. When I look at a lot of those sayings, they're actually, a lot of them have negative connotations. One that comes to mind is, when you want to accomplish a lot of things at once, you kill two birds with one stone. That's an awful saying. I really dislike that one. But it's so much in the consciousness that people just say it unconsciously. And so there's so many sayings like that. And I think because of the fact that we have been controlled, and there has been an agenda to keep us in a sort of a level of disempowerment, that all these things have been set up in that way for a purpose.
True story.
Yeah.
But we're getting out of that. And the more
Absolutely.
people that, share their gifts and go within. I mean, that's what I'm trying to teach now, not just myself, but even with you. When I had that a couple sessions with you in the fall, that's what it is. It's that it's just like that support to learn, to practice, because it is a practice, right?
Absolutely.
Just like brushing our teeth, washing our hair, it's a practice to go within, because you do get pulled by the outer busyness and stuff you have to do or feel like you have to do in life. So
it's true. Yeah. It's very true. I'd love to share with you, if I could, my image here of my view of my balcony. It's just stunning where I am. And I manifested it again. Because the last place I manifested, and it was stunning. And I said, I put out to the universe, I want something equivalent or better. And I'm thinking, how's that going to happen? I just don't know, because it was just so lovely the last place. But I managed to manifest something better than what I had before, because it's much more peaceful, but it's equivalent, if not better, in beauty. And so this is a view from a balcony. We have these we're renting, but we just have these wide doors across that all glass. And so when you look at it at sunset, it's like this incredible painting. While I'm talking, there's a hawk flying over. So we have
I had a hawk in my backyard 2 days ago.
Oh, lovely. Yes.
And I didn't have a chance to take the picture. I was just like stunned.
Okay. Lovely. Well, I've just got one flying over. We have sea eagles flying here. I had a wallaby in my background just this morning, just here. And we have kookaburras and willy wagtails, cute little birds, and all sorts of lovely birds here, cockatoos and all sorts of things. But here's the image that I want to share with you. Okay. And this is a view from our living room.
Wow.
It's stunning. And the sunsets, because it faces west, the sunsets are just beyond spectacular. Different colors, you know, pinks and purples and yellows and reds and oranges, and just takes my breath away. I just look out going, wow.
That is gorgeous. And you manifested that so everybody else can manifest it too.
Exactly. That's my point. Definitely. And once you can manifest one thing, in theory, therefore, you can manifest everything. It's only our unconscious blocks and our sort of our limiting belief systems that stop us from manifesting absolutely anything. Because if you're wanting to manifest, even with money, you know, $3 million is no different to manifesting $20 in truth. They're just different amounts. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
You know, I used to hear Abraham Hicks say that for years. It's as easy to create a castle as a button. And I, you know, just recently got that. And it's what you're saying. It's an energetic thing. So if you have a block to $3 million, which most people have,
yes,
you know,
yes.
it would be easier to create that $20, right? Because you don't have any resistance too. So as long as we acknowledge that we have the block, then we can let it go.
That's right. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
So what? $3 million, $20, you know, and then you start seeing dimes on the ground, and you know, you start getting rebates, and it's just, yeah. And I think, like you said about manifesting, I think your beautiful island, you know, it's that inner feeling of within. You had that feeling prior, even though you didn't know exactly what it would look like, you know, because you weren't there yet. But if you manifest that feeling within.
Oh, that is a brilliant point. That's a brilliant point. It's not just the thought, but you've got to actually feel how you would feel if you lived on that beautiful island, you know, and I'm actually good at that, because I could feel, oh my God, this is so joyful. I'm excited. You're feeling that sense of upliftment and raising in your frequency and how it feels to be there. So that is something as a creative being, and I think creative people are good at this. I'm good at that, creating that emotion as well as having the thought, because what happens is the emotion is in the sacral chakra, the thought is in the head, and they come and they meet together in the heart center, and that's the point of manifestation.
That's it right there. Thought plus emotion, mind and heart.
Yes. And mind is come joining in the center, and I think that we're better at visualizing and feeling the emotions of things sort of in a different way. So when you're better at feeling the emotions, you can manifest it quicker.
But that's the program that you were speaking of earlier in the video, that they took that out, meaning the verses of say the Bible, for one example. That's only one. That's not the only example of any kind of spiritual teaching. They took out all the parts about feeling, the prayer, feeling the wish fulfilled. You know, you don't pray for rain out of a place of drought and lack. No, you thank the universe. You thank yourself for the rain that's on its way.
Yes. And the most, perhaps the area that we're most needing to work on planetarily, you know, as humanity, is how to master the emotional body. And Ian Welsh talks about how, in my previous interviews, they're very interesting. If you haven't watched them, please go and watch them. Ian talks about that in his 30 years of healing experience, it is really the emotional body that is the one that needs the most healing and the most work at the moment on the planet. And I have a technique now where I work with people, with clients, called trapped emotions, where often in our body, we're holding in place in different conditions in the body, and different symptoms that are in our bodies. They're just areas of trapped emotions, and it can be not only from this lifetime but from other lifetimes. And so I have techniques where we release those trapped emotions, and then people find that, you know, these physical symptoms can sometimes just disappear and go, because that holds a lot of energy. You know, the emotions hold a lot of energy, and many things are actually created by trapped emotions.
Right, which is really just another way of saying repressing and suppressing our emotions instead of just letting them flow up and out.
Yes, identifying and acknowledging what they are. And there's like a particular sort of a technique for, there's a plane going overhead and it's caught the sun and it's all shimmery and shiny. I've got a beautiful view of the water here. It's very distracting. And you've got all this light coming through with all color. It's stunning, Amy.
Oh, geez. Yeah, sorry about that.
Gorgeous. No, it looked really pretty, actually.
Oh, okay.
It had all colors of like rainbow colors in it. It's really beautiful.
Oh, fantastic. Just when you were saying that, that's great. Okay.
Yeah. That looks really quite beautiful. And so oh, now I've forgotten where I was.
That was my fault. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh, those colors look so pretty around you.
Thank you. You were talking about trapped emotions and teaching your clients how techniques to release them.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's a really key missing factor that people perhaps are not working with at the moment. I'm going to be doing more videos on this, but the other thing too, I think, is the need at the moment to go into our hearts and expand our love of self and our divine connection and love of humanity, which comes with love of self. You know, they go hand in hand. And I just want to mention too, I've got a workshop coming up next week, which is self-care, self-love workshop, where we will be covering 20 major principles of self-love. And this work is really brilliant in allowing us to have higher levels of self-awareness and how we can work with these principles to really enhance our own love of self and our lives. A lot of things we go through in life, we're unconsciously going through without having that, oh, you're disappearing in all those colors. Perhaps you had it. It's getting stuck. It's very beautiful, but we want to see your lovely face.
Okay.
Yes, very good. It was amazing, though. Just all this gorgeous light.
Sorry about that.
It was lovely. It was lovely. So yes, the importance of this is going to be worked on in the workshop, and it's something that I've had a lot of success in. I had a healing center in Victoria, and I ran these workshops, and they were so successful that the people that were doing them kept saying, oh, I want to do more. So I had to keep extending the classes, which was lovely. So if anyone wants to book, it's going to be amazing. And then I've got a beautiful package of love related things that are going with that as well, including an incredible 1 hour talk and different things that are related to love. So I'll put the link below.
And I think that that's wonderful, because self-love, I mean, everything is within us. And so our self-concept doesn't just stop with us, it starts with humanity as well, because humanity is within us as well.
That's right.
So
yes.
I think having a workshop, having videos, you know, whatever you can on self-love, I think that really, like you said, teaching that, it's not even teaching it, it's letting people just let it out. It's already in us.
Yes, exactly.
They're so closed off that it's covered up, but it's in there. Love is who we really are.
Exactly. And as you said, that an orb just flew past you. Watch the video. There's stuff going
your
on.
Energy. It's your energy. I love it.
That's really funny.
Maybe it'll, you're healing my neck. I have this neck thing that never goes away.
Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? Yes. Maybe look for some trapped emotions. Maybe
well, I'm gonna join your workshop.
Lovely. And you've got the most beautiful channel too, so I encourage people to go to Amy's channel and subscribe and like and watch her videos. Tell us a bit more about your channel and how that evolved too.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, it was sort of like an organic thing. I find YouTube just a great source of inspiration and education. And I started my channel, did maybe a dozen videos and got distracted. Life got distracted, and I stopped. And then I started again a few months ago. And I have some help. My web designer is helping me, post them and teach me how to do that. But what it's really about is awakening to who we really are, to the fact that we have the power within us. So I'm teaching, like, my take on the spiritual teachers like Neville Goddard, Abraham Hicks, Eckhart Tolle, not so much Eckhart Tolle. I mean, he's good, but really people like that,
Yeah.
that were around 50, 60, 70, 100 years ago. And also for me, it's been an act of self-love, because honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just following my bliss. And I told the universe a couple years ago, I just want to learn how to follow my heart. Because a lot of this, like you were saying, and I would follow my heart sometimes. So my channel, really, that's what it's about. Awakening to our power within us, and just teaching tips, tools, quick little videos to just inspire people to do that.
I think that's brilliant. It takes a lot of courage to start a YouTube channel, and if anyone out there is feeling that inspiration to do it themselves, it's a great thing to do. Just the ability to be able to express your truth, your authentic truth to the world, as much authentic as we can do at the moment, considering the censorship. But we can talk about these types of things, with ease. It's just, the world issues. It's a bit more challenging at the minute. But yeah, the overall concepts, you can cover easily in these channels. And for me, I got about 10 years ago, I got a really strong impetus to start interviewing people and talk to people and that sort of thing. And it's evolved now to the channel that I have. So thank you to anyone out there who watches my channel, and I really appreciate you. And don't forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button and the notification bell. But no, I really appreciate you, because I wouldn't be doing this unless people were watching. So thank you so much. And it allows me the gift of expressing my truth in the world. And for me, it's a really important aspect of who I am and what I need to do here on the planet. So it's fulfilling my own personal spiritual mission to be able to share these things and talk to wonderful people like you, and connect, and to know that it doesn't matter where we are in the world. We basically have the same truth. We've got the same heart. We've got the same goals for loving one another and loving humanity, and everyone coming together in peace and joy. And the predominant energy in the world is that most people do want that. They want the same thing. And so the unification of that energy coming together and be able to share those feelings is really an important aspect of creating this new world and overcoming any sort of darkness that we've been facing within it. How do you think we're going as a planet?
I have to say, I think we're doing pretty good, despite all the inflation and everything. I think if everybody out there that's listening can just suspend their belief in only what they're living and what they're seeing just for a little bit, because I'm not saying that that's not real. It is real. We're living it. We're all struggling in some way. But if we could just for a moment every day realize who we really are isn't struggling. Who we really are is that soul that came to have a physical experience. And that means duality. So that means a little bit of what we don't want. So then we can ask ourselves, well, what is it that I do want? And really, that's where God is, source, infinite intelligence, whatever you want to call it. And our higher self is with, because every desire that comes to us is already ours. So your desire, my desire for peace, for more love, it's here now. We just have to focus on that more than maybe something that's stressing us out in our world.
Absolutely.
And I swear, I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds hard to do, but when you start to practice that from a higher view, meaning that I am a soul with a physical body. I mean, even if you put a microscope on our arm or on our shelves or like it's all energy.
Yeah, 100%.
It's moving.
Yes.
So
yes.
anyway, that was just my little, I'm really passionate about that because I want people not to think like, oh, we're just talking about peace and love and it's some kind of like far away ideal. No, it's in consciousness within all of us.
Oh, yes. I think that that is a key thing at the minute, what you're talking about here. It's like fake it till you make it. So I remember on a personal level, I was at one part of my life many years ago and things weren't going well and I wasn't feeling happy. So I would walk around my property and I'd put myself in a joyful state. And I'd say, I'm living my joy. I am in my joy. I'm living my joy. I'm in my joy. And my whole life very quickly actually transitioned into a much better state because even though I wasn't in that space in reality of being in a joyful life or joyful situation, I was feeling the energy of it, and I was permeating my whole body with it and trying to embody that, even though that wasn't, the space I was in. And then I energetically drew that into my life because I was holding the energy, and the whole thing transitioned very quickly into a much better reality for myself. And this is what we all need to collectively do at the moment, even though we're seeing all the gunk come up, like rising to the surface, or the mud from the bottom of the pond is coming to the surface as all the hidden stuff that has been here on the planet, but is now starting to be seen and to emerge in our consciousness. As all that's coming up, we need to still hold that space for the highest frequency of joy on this planet, even though, it's all being dredged to the surface. And that's the spiritual mastery.
That is. And what you're saying, the whole point, I think, is all that darkness is in our unconscious, subconscious.
Yeah, shadow says.
But because we maybe weren't individually facing our own, we have to face it collectively in order to transcend it. We don't say we like, and I'm not going to say the details, but we're not going to like the darkness. But instead of pushing against it, fighting against it, we look at it. That's awareness. Yeah. And then, like you said, we transcend it. How? By not judging it as good or bad, right or wrong. We don't know what those souls came here to experience. We don't know enough. We don't even know ourselves what our own soul, with any accuracy, came to experience. So how could we know what those other souls that we have had horrible experiences came here? Maybe they came here to choose to go through all this because love is the only answer. It's the only answer ever is love.
Amy, you're a wise woman.
So true. I've had a lot of pain in my life too, and to be able to look at it now and not be like bogged down by it, I want that for everybody on the planet. And I just think that's the key, that we all do have to go through things, but we can transcend them as well. Because if you did it, if I did it, anybody can do it. We all can do it.
And I keep saying to people at the moment, to be here at this time, you were chosen. There were many souls actually that wanted to come in, but they weren't given the permission because on some level it was considered that they didn't have the skills, the abilities, the gifts to be able to really make a difference here on the planet at the minute. So if you're here on Earth through this incredible transition process that the whole cosmos is focused on, you're really special. So everybody watching this, you are really special to be here at this time, and you have gifts that other souls didn't have, and that's why you're chosen to be here. So, you know, really honor yourself and activate your gifts, and really be your own best, you know, motivational coach, cheerleader, because you know, your soul is profound to be here at this time.
If I had a glass of wine, I would cheers right to that.
If it didn't love that. I do. Thank you. I mean, it's such a beautiful chat with you. I really love chatting with you, and we'll have to do it again.
I would love to. I would love to have you on my channel as well eventually.
Oh, I love that. And I'll dig up another great background. I've got so many good ones now. I'm excited. So being a creative person, I've got so many great backgrounds, and so I'll tune in and see which is the best one for our chat. I was going to do the hippie trippy one today, but because I'm talking about the island, I thought this was a good one. And so I hope people enjoy my background.
Well, you answered my question, because I was wondering when I watch your videos, I'm like, why does she always have a different background? And now I know. It's just like your mood or your feel for that video.
Yes. And being a creative person, you know, I like switching things up and changing things and doing different things according to my energy and my mood and what I'm talking about. And yeah, I think it makes it interesting. I love the fact that I have the ability to do that now, and I've worked out how to do it.
That's that's fantastic. I love it.
Thank you. So if anyone's enjoyed this video, please you know, like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. I love the comments. And go to check out Amy's channel. I think you'll love it. And thank you everyone out there for watching, and lots of love to everyone. Thank you, Amy. Lots of love.
Bye. Thank you, Medina.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.